Hello again, this is Mugsy, and today I'm going to show you how to use up all of your paper towels and baby wipes that you use to clean up from your art and what to do with them. I've got so many, and some of them look really cool. It was just cleanup from different projects I did. These black and white ones look awesome. Just some paper towel. This black is the second blackest black color in the world right now. I was able to get some and play with some, and it is fantastic. It's from an artist. His name is Stuart Semple. He is amazing. Check him out. I will link him. I have the black 2.0, but that's all I have right now. I'm hoping to get a hold of some more of his pigments soon. But it's such an awesome black. It's so much blacker than, you know, just a regular acrylic black. It's just awesome. It's awesome. Fun. So, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm getting a ton of these. And these are just the baby wipes and paper towels that I use to clean up my workstation or my hands or whatnot when I'm doing art with acrylic paint. Some of these are a little stiffer than others because they probably have some mediums on them, some Mod Podge, whatnot, glue. These have been, I think this was a coffee spill on some paper towels, and then later once it dried I probably used it again and to clean up some ink or some paint. I do that often where I use these until they can't really absorb much more, and then I dry them. Just kind of throw them aside in a box, and then after a while, once they're dry, I'll go ahead and, you know, flatten them out and press them. That way they are usable again. If they're not that interesting and still got a lot of space on them, I'll actually just reuse these towels again for cleanup. And sometimes you get like messes and just muddy colors, but a lot of the times they are turning out really cool. These are just stamps I've been cleaning off. Real fun. So if you're not saving your wipes and your napkins, you should start, because we're gonna make some cool things out of these. It's just more art material. So back about a year ago, I started getting into making some paper and fabric flowers. And then, as with every project, I got way into it and went overboard. And I'll show you. Let me go ahead and put I've got a little bit of my Super Hit incense right now. Put this over here. Get it out of our way since we're working with some flammables. So when I say that I went overboard, this is the box of flowers that I have left that I haven't used yet in any projects. And there's a lot of them. Big box. And what I used for all these flowers was old material, old clothing I've had that I didn't want to wear anymore, but I didn't want to, you know, miss it. Some really cool striped clothing, striped shirts, things that I adored and had for a long time. And then some just batting. This is some really thick material that we used in a Halloween haunt that is now a backdrop in some movie theater decor we have. There's music notes, there's paper bags, burlap, all sorts of things. So I made a ton, and I've been using them, putting them on projects, gifting them to people. A lot of them are fabric and then also paper. Some of these have canvas in them. Some of the best material I found was some older terry cloth towels. And then I embellished them all with buttons and little trinkets. This one has a bell. This is a button off of a school band uniform. This one's got flowers cut out of jeans. Just all sorts of material that I had. Usually if I've got something that is fabric, before getting rid of it, I will look at it as if it's a piece of fabric, and I'll usually cut it up into a manageable square or section of fabric and use it in a piece of art. Oh, yeah. They turned out really neat. So I have tons, and I've been, like I said, been using these to do, you know, all sorts of things. This is a button off of a pair of jeans. Oh, I think I cut up an old fabric shower curtain that I had. I really honestly don't throw much away, and I don't feel too badly about it because I use it. Some of these I didn't embellish, or the embellishment fell off. This one looked like it had a little pearl in it, and this one's kind of filthy because my cats love these. So I take off a little parts that might be harmful if they, you know, accidentally swallowed them. Throw them around on the floor, and they love to bat them. They'll pick them up and hide them. One of my cats will bring them, and there'll be a whole bunch underneath the bed. They seem to really enjoy these. And they're holding up really well. I mean, a couple of my cats like to, you know, grab something in their front paws and then rabbit kick it with their back feet, and it's quite aggressive. So yes. If nothing else, you can make some of these for your kitties. Like I said, a lot of these were made out of fabric that I had from just, you know, old material. This is an old t-shirt that I had that I'm gonna cut up and use. Another thing I've been doing is, before I throw something out, I'll take the pieces and cut them into strips. Right now I'm saving all of these strips. This is some fabric that I made, clothing and whatnot. Anyways, I'm collecting all this for a while here. My Batman band-aid here. So that I can make some tassels and other little danglies for my charms and whatnot. The ones I'm going to do are going to be a little different because I'm going to use the paper towels and wipes. I'll probably still embellish them with buttons and whatever I find. We'll see when we get there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do all of them just straight from this or incorporate other paper or fabric. When I was doing the flowers, you know, back over a year ago, I ended up cutting out quite a bit. So I have lots of petals of all sorts of things, actually. Cardboard, Trader Joe's, paper bag, you know, some music notes. And this is just the larger size. I have a smaller size. This looks like, I think this was a root beer box. Parts of an old shower curtain, jeans. Anyway, so I have a couple boxes of of flowers or flower petals to be made again. Here's all the little ones, so I can build some flowers. So I might incorporate some of that fabric in there since I've got so much. But we'll go ahead and start with making, oh, look at that one. Those are beautiful. We'll go ahead and start with making a couple flowers just out of the paper towels here. Look how pretty those are. They're just gorgeous. Alright, I'm going to get set up to do some cutting. I do have a die cut machine that I use. You can cut these out. You can do your flowers with scissors. The die cut machine that I purchased, I did a couple years ago after I did a ton of research on them, and I can use multiple different brands of dies with it, and it's really much easier on my hands. I get fatigued so easily that I wouldn't be able to cut these all out. So I will get set up and show you, and we'll go from there. Alright, this is the Vintaj Big Kick. I am unsure if they sell these anymore, but if they do, I will find it and link it below. I love this machine. I didn't think I'd be using a paper craft machine that much like this, but I've actually used this quite a bit. This is one of the Tim Holtz. It's called Tattered Florals. It's a die. As you can see, it's very used. These are the sizes of the flowers that this one die cuts. I just did one of my napkins right now. I like the stackability on these. And that they make pretty good flowers just with these. But I'm going to go ahead and start running these old towels. And see, I kind of like that some of them are wrinkly and hard. Through the die cut machine. And start making my petals. I'll show you how I do one of these. And then I'll get back to you once I'm done making a few. Kind of sliding everywhere, sorry about that. If you can't see, this thing has a nice handle, nice turn crank on this side. I usually have this over on my workbench, but I wanted to bring this over to show you here on my desk. Take off the plates here, and there's our flowers. Just from some old hand wipes, paper towels, or baby wipes that you use for cleaning up art. They're beautiful. So I'll stack these differently and probably with multiples. I like to make really thick flowers. So I will get back to you after I've gone through some of this pile, making more of these. I've got some coffee here I'm going to enjoy and listen to a book. Now you can make these with a pair of scissors, or you would just cut out a flower shape out of these. It would take a long time, but it's totally doable. For the longest time I didn't have a machine So anytime I saw this type of art, I felt compelled to try it out, and I would use scissors. Alright, back again once I've got some petals. Okay, I've gone and cut these all out with the die cut machine. What is left over is just these sheets that have the cut taken out of them. Normally I would say go ahead and get rid of these. You've used them a couple times for cleanup, and now you've used them for an art project. I'm keeping these because I have a paper mache project coming up, a large one, and I like using this material in it. Makes things much sturdier, along with the newspaper. I'm going to go ahead and use these either by ripping them up and using pieces of them, or by pureeing them in a blender that I have solely for art projects, and making a, you know, a type of clay, paper clay from them. So doesn't matter what color it turns out to be, because it's, you know, gonna get painted. So normally you've used them 2-3 times. I think you've upcycled enough, but yeah, there's some beautiful pieces still, so who knows. You can always cut out a little bit, put it in a little charm or something, who knows. But you'll come to find out that I tend to keep many things, so, but I do have a use for these. So when putting these flowers together, the last time I did them, I used hot glue. I was figuring over time hot glue might come apart, as it does, and the flowers would fall apart. That has not happened. The flowers that the cats have played with have stayed together. I've got a few flowers that have been sitting outside at least for a year, in the rain, snow, you know, summer heat, and although they're faded, they're still together. So I'm going to continue using hot glue. I'm using the Stanley Dual Melt. I get this at a home improvement store. I believe it was Home Depot. I will try to link this also. I like these because these are huge and you don't have to continuously put in glue sticks when you're doing a large project. I have a kitty at the door clawing to get in, so they don't seem to like when I close the door. You know, stay away from this. Don't want them to get anywhere near the glue gun. And that's why kitties aren't allowed in here when I'm working. And usually when I'm not in here. Having a studio that I can close the door to has been life-saving with animals. Alright. This is my senior kitty, Anubis. Hi, Anubis. Come on. He likes to help with the projects. Hey, buddy. Get you settled down in your spot. Go ahead. Alright. Another way that you can attach these flowers and build up on them is to use needle and thread. But like I said, hot glue seems to be working well. I think it's because it seeps through, you know, the fabric and the paper. So, let's get started. I'm liking these coffee and tea stained ones. I think we'll start building out from one of these. When you have 2 petals, I try to put them so that way their petals do not line up. It gives you a little bit more of a fuller flower. It looks like we're gonna do probably a couple of these larger ones. Again, skewing it. These are looking nice. And then we're going to go ahead and do some of these thinner petals. When doing this type of project, you quickly realize that some of the least interesting pieces of fabric that you have or paper that you have tend to be the ones you want to use a little bit more. And you don't have to build them like this. Sometimes I'll just skip this and make it here and put the bead or the charm or the button right here. But I like to make pretty thick flowers. Still eschewing the petals, so we just have lots of layers. I like to kind of rough them up a little bit. I think we will put a couple of these on here. And then we have these little tiny ones that I love. Little pop of blue in there. So that's using all the petals, if you choose. So we'll glue this together, find a nice little button for this, and make another one. Here's my container full of random buttons that I'm going to put on these flowers, or use with these flowers. A lot of thrift store runs. And then if I throw a piece of clothing away, I usually take the buttons off of it. I also have these I found recently. Really cool buttons. I found these at Michael's of all places. It's funny because I've been looking for gears and large amounts of gears. You know, this is a pretty good amount for one little bag. And I believe that they had this for just under $10, I believe. Like again, I'll put the link below. But using your 40% off coupon, these are fairly cheap and they're quite nice. Some of them are just, I don't think they're meant to be buttons because these were in the button section. But some of them are, so we're gonna use some of those. Alright, so let's go ahead and glue this guy together. Got another visit from Anubis. What are you doing, honey? It's about 4:45 in the morning, so he's thinking he's getting hungry. Alright, buddy? Thinking you're getting hungry? Alright, go on down. Go on. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get something to use to press in the centers of these flowers. Okay, I have this nifty little petal making tool, but I can't seem to find it, so here's a little hook. I believe these are the hooks that come with those looms. Basically, I'm just looking for a nice kind of rounded bottom here. Alright, let's get started. Do the colors you want facing upwards. Put a little dab. And then do the next. Give the middle a little push. This will get the flower to start concaving down. I have this mat that I got along with my tool, but I cannot find it. It's just kind of like a foam piece. You can use craft foam, it would work just fine too. Lay this under your flower here, so that way when you push down when it's warm, you're creating quite an indent. Add a little bit more glue. Add your next petal. Push down. Kind of do a little swirly motion. Add another drop of glue. Petal. Little bit of a smush. So you're going to do this until you get a flower that's thick enough for your needs. And as you can see, this is a nice project to do. Once you get all set up, there's a little bit of a setup here, but once you get to this part, it's just all kind of mindless repetition, and it's great for sitting down and blowing through, you know, a season on Netflix or Hulu, or doing a book on tape, an audiobook, or just letting your mind wander. Remember, hot glue's hot. If you're using hot glue, know that you're probably gonna get burnt with it. I don't think I've ever used hot glue over a period of time that I haven't burnt myself. It's just, it just happens. Push down. And see now how the ones that I'm putting on now are starting to stick up more. Little dot. And stick down. These are coming up almost like a lotus flower now, like the center. Just sticking. They want to be a flower. Looks like there's a little hot glue seeping through now, so I don't need to put another layer there. It's actually quite pretty. Another little dab of glue. Let's put this next type of petal on. When I get to this petal, let's see if I can't show you. When pushing it down in the center, I like to twist it a little. Gotta be careful it doesn't stick to your tool here. But it just gives it this nice, I don't know, organic look to it. And do a twist. Yeah, there we go. Alright, just got a couple more. We got this little pop of blue that we're going to put in here. I think that's going to look quite nice since there's just a tad bit of blue right here. Already getting glue stuck on me. Alright, we're going to do a little push right in there. A little white one. Well, kind of grayish. Not pushing down too hard right now because I'm going to want a nice little spot for the, oh, see, already getting glue everywhere. A nice little spot for the button or bead. There we go. Very kind of tattered looking. I'm gonna put one more over top of this blue just so it's not so pronounced. I think having it just peak is what we're gonna want. Yes, that looks nice. Just have a little peak of blue. Peak of blue. There we go. That. I've got, along with the buttons, I have some beads. I like using these little pearl beads. I have little metal letters. Oops, little wooden rounds. I mean, really, you can put anything. A little bell. And you could even put a charm, you know, in the center of the flower. These are some charms I have. So, wow. It's really up to you. I think for now I'm going to use some of these pearls for this one. And I think this kind of brassy one would be good for this. So, just going to put a little dab again Make sure the little holes are to the side. And press down. There you go. Upcycled paper towels, baby wipes, things that would have gone into the trash are now beautiful again. See if I can't get you. Alright. So I'm going to make all these up. Sometimes I'm not going to use all the different layers. Some I will just do, you know, with one or two. I'll do quite a few with these towels. And I will show them to you once they're done. I'm going to turn some music on for you and speed this up. And I'm going to listen to a book. Right now I'm listening to Stephen King's The Gunslinger. Yes, I know there's a movie coming out, but I have no interest in watching that right now. I'm only in book 4, and it is fascinating. I love Stephen King. The Stand is one of my favorite books. This is kind of on the lines of that, just slightly. And it's a very good read. And the narrator is just awesome. It really has been consuming my attention lately. So, alright, I'm gonna mute you and get to work.
good time.
Alright, here are the finished flowers. Well, almost finished. I'm going to do the centers here. Start with this one here. This button is cute. So, just like you were making the flowers, you put a little bit of glue in here. Or at this point you could sew this button in, that way it would sew through the whole flower. And there we have it. So as far as figuring out what buttons go where, I just kind of do what I think looks best. And I've gotten these buttons over many, many years. I also pick up buttons at yard sales and thrift stores whenever I find them. I do like this little gear heart. Let's see. think that's the one. It's pretty cool. Some of these gears are a little large to be using. I like these clocks. They're kind of large though. I'm thinking that might not go with these. Might just be a little too big. Got little gears, and they're so cute because they've got the little screw that's in them. It's really cute. That actually goes quite nicely. So I'm using these flat buttons. I'm making sure that I'm filling this little cavity up with hot glue. That way we have good adhesion. Get a moment to stick here. Not sure if you guys can hear that, but I have a neighbor who, for the summer, looks like he does some asphalting. So it's about 6:30 in the morning, and they start getting all the equipment ready. It gets a little loud, but it's not really a big deal. We live out in the country, so it's not too bothersome. Look at that, that's beautiful. Sometimes they just find the right spot and you just know that's the button for this one. Ooh, that looks good. Kind of grab some of the gold that's in this one. Let's go ahead and do that. I got lots of noise going on now. I've got laundries going and the washer and the dryer, and all the animals are starting to wake up, and I do like that actually. So, what can you use these flowers for? Well, just about anything. You know, if you keep them kind of thin on the thin side like this, you can use them in your journals, on canvas. I like to attach them to gifts. You can put them on clips and wear them in your hair. And I'll be doing some of those things here in the future. Should I do like that? I was just once again going through my studio and doing a bit of cleaning, which I'm pretty much always doing, and saw that the box of paper towels and wipes and whatnot were getting a little full. So, let's see what else I have in this jar here. And sometimes it's just finding the right one. And I've always you just know it when you see it. It just happens. I actually like that. Let's do that. That's a big, pink, thick button. But it really does echo the pink that's on the sides here, so. Alright. Oh, that's cute. It's like a little fabric button. Right in there. Adorable. And that's our last one. I really like all the different colors in these. You never know what you're really gonna get, and it's kind of neat to see these colors again because I've done previous projects with these, with the colors. So, alright, well, I will take some pictures and share this with you. Go ahead and give these a try. They're really fun, and as a lot of the things that I do, very addicting. So I think this batch I made about 20. Very fun. And hey, you're upcycling. I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to me and comment, leave some comments and introduce yourself, and you know, if you have any ideas or anything you want to see me do. You know, I'm making a list of the videos I'm going to be doing over the next year. So, oh, I got a visitor. I'm going to make sure my heat gun's off. Come here. I think he's seen that I've made his favorite toy. This is Anubis again. So, well, my kiddos are telling me I need to get up and move around and feed them. So, thank you so much for joining me and watching how I do this. Sorry for the cat butt. And, oh, he's just gonna plop down right here. Yeah, you're a good boy. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and I will see you the next video. Bye-bye.